Bride attempts to disinvite the best man after finding out he drunkenly admitted to being in love with the groom years ago. I, 27 female, am getting married to my fiance, 28 male, in 2 months. He has a childhood best friend, 28 male, who's going to be his best man. Needless to say, they're very close to each other. Recently, my fiance told me how a couple of years ago, his best friend got drunk and confessed his love to him. My fiance was taken aback because he only ever dated, and I think still dates, women. And according to my fiance, he just ignored his confession afterwards and they never talked about it in order to not make their friendship awkward. To this day, my fiance isn't sure if his best friend even remembers that confession. I obviously got very uneasy hearing this, especially because they never talked it out, so he could very well still be in love with him. I think his best friend is still single at the moment or not in a serious relationship at least. My fiance said that there's no reason to worry because he never brought up his feelings again, which may have not even been serious to begin with, but considering they've been best friends since middle school, I seriously doubt it. I honestly feared his best man might try to ruin my wedding out of jealousy, so I sent him a private message requesting him to withdraw his position as my fiance's best man and not come to our wedding, if possible, as his presence made me uncomfortable. Well, my fiance found out about it and now he's furious with me. He told me I was incredibly out of line for trying to disinvite his best man and friend of almost 2 decades behind his back, but I told him that I only did it because I don't want someone who is in love with him and probably still is to be at our wedding and potentially sabotage. We went back and forth on this till I told him that he has to choose between me and his best friend. He told me that I'm incredibly childish and it's too early to be acting like a bridezilla, and then he left to his mother's place and 2 days later he still hasn't come back or tried to contact me. Am I the asshole?
Yes.
Wow, you are out of line.
Yeah.
Out of line.
Mm-hmm.
This could not have been worse.
Yes, you're out of line. I don't really think that you could constitute who your future husband's best man is, really. I guess you have some type of say in it. There's got to be an underlying issue because it sounds like maybe you're a little bit concerned about the relationship dynamic between your fiance and his soon-to-be best man.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, figure out why you're feeling so alarmed by this. And you're totally out of line. Yeah, going behind your fiance's back to text that to the best man. No, that's not.
Insane. I think... Okay, she is projecting so much of her insecurity onto the best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give the guy some credit. God damn. Yeah, maybe he had a crush on his friend in the past years ago, but just because he used to have feelings, or maybe even if he still does, doesn't mean he's going to sabotage your wedding. Like, wouldn't your husband probably know his best friend a little better than that by then?
Right.
Like, give them some credit, I feel like. Like, they're not all just crazy people that don't have a clue. Like, you're acting like your husband, one, is either oblivious or doesn't have a clue about what's going on in his friend's life or what his friend is feeling. Like, if he only said it once, years ago, I just think it's not that deep. It's not as deep as what you think. And then the fact that she thought that the best idea would be to not talk to her husband about it, but instead privately contact the best friend behind her soon-to-be husband's back and ask the best friend to voluntarily drop out of the wedding. So you wanted your husband to have to get a message from his best friend of 20 years that says, hey man, I don't want to be your best man anymore. That's what you wanted your husband to deal with? That's so horrible.
Yeah. No, she seems like she doesn't really put much thought into her actions at this point.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah. I mean,
what outcome would she have wanted to happen? Genuinely.
I mean, I think that she wanted the best man to be like, okay, I'll drop out of your wedding.
And I'm not coming.
Yeah. And then she wanted the husband to receive that information and be like, oh, okay, he's not coming. New best man.
Yeah. Just mark it off the list. Not going to ask any questions. Like, why?
Like, you really think that is what would happen from that? Like, this is a very deep and serious friendship dilemma. Someone dropping out as your best man, that's not going to just like go over like it's nothing, you know?
Right. And I would assume that they would have some type of relationship if that's your soon-to-be husband's best friend. That's going to be his best man.
Exactly.
You have to know him pretty well yourself.
Yeah. So bizarre.
Yeah.
And like, did you think that this guy wasn't going to tell his best friend what was going on? Because I can tell you right now, if any of my friends, let alone like the ones that are closest to me, if any of their partners sent me a message, like, who do you think their loyalty is to? Like, if my best friend started dating someone and then I got some whack ass message asking me to drop out of their wedding, who do you think my loyalty lies with? Some random person that I met a couple years ago when my friend started dating them, or my best friend of 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
My loyalty lies with my best friend of 20 years. Like, of course he's gonna tell your husband.
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, you are an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Out of line.
Yep, wrong choice.
I think if it was my boyfriend / fiance / future husband, what would I do if they messaged my best friend and said, drop out of the wedding because I'm an insecure little bitch and I'm scared of you? I would be like, you're a fool. Like, I would just think you're such a fool. And it would really change my perception of the person that I'm in love with.
Yeah, and part of me feels like maybe this is not the first kind of out of line thing that she did, because he was real quick to pack up his stuff and go to his mom's house.
That's true. Yeah, he didn't say, babe, this isn't like you. Like, where did this come from? He was like, I'm outie. Goodbye.
Yeah.
You're so right. I bet it wasn't the first.
Yeah.
Good point. So yeah, asshole.
OP, check yourself, honey.
Facts.